Hello everyone. In this video I will discuss one of the films called Space Sweepers. And never forget that I always pray for you and your family to be happy and healthy always. Set in the year 2092, Earth's condition worsens as trees cease to grow, and deteriorating air pollution makes survival increasingly challenging for humans. A giant corporation called UTS constructs new hobbit homes for the wealthy, allowing ticket holders to reside there while the rest suffer in the deteriorating state of Earth. Those who endure on Earth resort to various means to sustain life, such as working as space sweepers, individuals cleaning up space debris. Tae-ho, a young man from Korea who lacks the right to live in UTS, works as a space sweeper. One day, he descends to Earth to search for someone missing after an accident. He visits the Lost and Found district, where lost items are collected and stored. Despite finding a child's body matching the characteristics he sought, it turns out not to be the person he has been searching for. Tae-ho returns to space to resume his work. Meanwhile, a group of reporters from Earth visits the UTS residential district, where they meet James Sullivan, the 150-years-old founder of UTS, who appears young due to the technological advancements he created. James shares UTS's future mission to transform Mars into a new Earth, called Eden. Using nanobot technology and a life-sustaining superplant, trees can thrive on Mars, making the planet suitable for habitation and the restart of human civilization. During the meeting, one reporter demands justice, pointing out that 95% of the human population is still left on Earth, facing worsening conditions. The reporter questions the millions of pieces of space debris caused by UTS, endangering both space sweepers and Earth's inhabitants, as the debris may potentially enter the atmosphere and fall to the ground. Meanwhile, in outer space, Tae-ho is part of a group called Victory, consisting of 4 members, including himself. The group is led by Captain Jang, with Tae-ho as the pilot, Tiger Park as the engine technician, and a robot named Bubs responsible for retrieving debris from outside the spacecraft. Essentially, as sweepers, their job is to compete in collecting space debris to exchange for money. While other sweepers collaborate to capture the wreckage of a spacecraft, Tae-ho and his friends seize the opportunity to claim the ship and later sell it in a salvage district. Tae-ho successfully evades other sweepers in pursuit, but unfortunately, he becomes careless and almost crashes into the UTS residential district. Not stopping there, this negligence causes the spacecraft to accelerate and collide with an orbiting satellite antenna. Eventually, they make a stop at a salvage district to exchange all the debris they have collected. However, the salvaged spacecraft cannot be sold as it needs to be dismantled first. Unfortunately, they have to pay a fine for damaging the satellite antenna. To make matters worse, their treasurer, Porky, runs away with all the money they have gathered, making their lives even more miserable. One day, Tae-ho discovers a little girl inside the wreckage of a spacecraft they obtained earlier. It remains unknown who she is and where she comes from, but she appears to be a Korean citizen. Shortly after, news emerges about the disappearance of a mass destruction robot named Dorothy, believed to be owned by a terrorist group called Black Fox. Upon observation, it turns out that the little girl is the mentioned robot. Eventually, Tae-ho and his friends discuss and decide to report Dorothy to the police. Tae-ho then checks the suitcase and backpack found in the wreckage earlier, discovering the identity of Hyun-kang, who seems to be related to Dorothy. Feeling they have found a clue, they go to the non-UTS residential district. Upon arrival, Tae-ho explains that Black Fox and the Space Guard are currently searching for Dorothy. Therefore, Tae-ho plans to sell her to Hyun-kang, a Black Fox member, at a high price. Using disguised voices, they negotiate before finally agreeing to the transaction in the business district. Meanwhile, Dorothy, who resides in the spacecraft, begins to demonstrate her abilities by reviving a dead tree. Upon returning to the spacecraft, Tae-ho and his friends unanimously disguise Dorothy to prevent her identity from being revealed. Before they can leave, a police officer they had contacted arrives. Quickly, they hide Dorothy and make up an excuse, pretending they made a mistake in calling the police. Captain Jang frames the officer, making it seem like he accepted a bribe out of fear of being reported. The officer leaves, leaving them alone. In short, Tae-ho and Tiger arrive at the transaction site. When Hyun Kang appears and hands over the money, the space guard is ready to shoot Dorothy from a distance. Before the transaction could take place, Dorothy, hidden inside a bag, disappeared, causing panic among them. Meanwhile, Dorothy casually walks into the midst of the business district party. Everyone who sees Dorothy falls silent before leaving when the space guard quickly shoots at her. Tae-ho saves Dorothy, while Hyun Kang is forced to leave, taking back his money. Surprisingly, Dorothy can deflect bullets just by staring at them. Captain Jang, witnessing this, is shocked and wonders what kind of robot Dorothy really is. After successfully escaping, they are puzzled as to how the space guard knew about their plan. Captain Jang suspects that the space guard has been eavesdropping on them during the negotiations. It is later revealed that Dorothy's real name is Kotnim, and Hyun Kang explained that Kotnim would only explode if given a command. That's why the crew were no longer worried about being close to her. Shortly after, Kotnim and Tae-ho pick tomatoes that were previously revived. They sell them at the aircraft hangar, and people there love them because they haven't had organic food in a long time. In short, the crew becomes closer to Kotnim, including Bubs, who shares many stories about his past, revealing that he used to be a military robot engaged in many wars. Captain Jang found him in a recycling center and repaired him. Captain Jang herself was initially a student trained as an engineer. She was very intelligent and skilled at creating things. Tiger's uncle was a drug cartel leader with noble aspirations, contributing the proceeds to poor children on Earth. Lastly, Tae-ho, formerly the first commander of the Space Guard in UTS, once found a baby during an attack on an illegal spacecraft and ended up caring for the baby. The baby was named Soon-Yi, who, as it turns out, was unable to hear. The doctor explained that Soon-Yi's ears were damaged due to very loud noises. Realizing it was his fault, Tae-ho regretted it and vowed not to harm anyone again. Since then, UTS fired him for disobedience, and Tae-ho fell into poverty, becoming a homeless person. At one point, an accident in the settlement district caused Soon-Yi to be thrown into space. Unfortunately, Tae-ho didn't have the money to hire a search service, so he always tried to earn as much money as possible to find his daughter. In short, Tae-ho received a call from Black Fox to continue their transaction, and this time it was in the weapons-based district. Shortly after Kotnim went to the public toilet, a masked man kidnapped her. The entire crew panicked and began chasing the source of her screams. When Tae-ho found Kotnim and rescued her, he was surrounded by another kidnapper in the same costume. Fortunately, they were no match for Tiger. Elsewhere, James continued his conversation with the reporter, who demanded justice. James explained that he chose specific humans based on their attitudes. He didn't want his new world to be filled with immoral people who would eventually ignite wars, as in the past. James gave the reporter the choice to kill the Black Fox terrorists they captured in exchange for being transferred to UTS. When the reporter succumbed to his persuasion, James trapped him and explained that this was the selfish and greedy nature of humans, ultimately leading to the reporter's demise as he was considered trash by James. Meanwhile, Captain Jang gathered the people who kidnapped Kotnim. It turned out their leader was a cashier named Karim, who was actually quite close to them. With her intelligence, Captain Jang managed to reveal their identities as members of Black Fox. It was then revealed that Black Fox was not a terrorist organization. They were an anti-UTS organization defending the Earth. If James Sullivan could green Mars, which was known to be barren, why wouldn't he make Earth green and save many people? That was their reason for the rebellion. Hyun Kang, who became part of Black Fox, was once a UTS scientist who created nanobot technology, and Kotnim was his daughter. Kotnim was a girl suffering from a rare condition in which her nervous system was damaged. Hyun Kang programmed nanobots and injected them into Kotnim as a last-ditch effort to heal her. The unexpected miracle was that Kotnim could interact with and control nanobots at will. With this ability, Kotnim could heal plants thanks to the controlled nanobots. All this time, James planned to eliminate nanobot technology, including Kotnim and her father, so that the technology could not be created again. James wanted to be regarded as a singular god who created a new planet on Mars. Kotnim's nanobots could only be destroyed using a highly hot hydrogen bomb, so James had prepared the bomb in the storage district. The explosion would make the district fall to Earth, annihilating all remaining humans. Not long after that, the Space Guard under James's command came to the non-UTS district to find Kotnim. Everyone scattered, and a chase ensued. But fortunately, the Victory crew and Kotnim managed to escape. Various missiles chased their ship, forcing Tae-ho to maneuver. Unfortunately, he failed, and the ship entered the Lagrangian point, a center where space debris accumulated due to gravitational pull. In that area, nanobots began to corrode the ship, but fortunately, Kotnim could control the nanobots and save them all. Instantly, Kotnim became powerless, but fortunately, she only fainted. Meanwhile, with his artificial body, James began to learn the identity of the Victory crew and their actions in saving Kotnim. For the second time, Kotnim failed to meet her father, and the Victory crew tried to take care of her as best as they could. Shortly after that, Karim contacted them and set a new meeting point with Hyun Kang. Upon arrival in the abandoned district, they all gathered, and Kotnim successfully reunited with her father, and everyone was deeply moved by the meeting, including Tae-ho, who remembered his little daughter, Soon-yi. Not long after that, Captain Jang realized that something was amiss. It turned out that the place was surrounded by UTS drones, ready to ambush. They couldn't escape because an EMP mine disrupted the ship's systems. When the Space Guard appeared, they slaughtered the Black Fox group, leaving only Kotnim and the Victory crew. James deliberately did this because he knew who they were. Captain Jang was the only person who almost killed him during the rebellion because she was an anti-UTS advocate. Tae-ho, his former favorite commander, was now a homeless person for not following orders. At that moment, James explained his plan to detonate Kotnim using the hydrogen bomb installed in the storage district. He would scapegoat Black Fox to conceal his cruelty from UTS citizens. After giving money and a chance to victory, James left, taking Kotnim with him. Tae-ho took the money without hesitation because that's what he needed to search for his daughter. Meanwhile, Captain Jang and Tiger began to empathize with Kotnim and agreed to save her. Tae-ho went to the search service, where eventually they agreed to look for his daughter. While waiting, Tae-ho remembered the last moments with Soon-yi. When Tae-ho saw his daughter's legacy, his heart was touched, and he returned to the ship to save Kotnim. Everyone prepared in their positions. Tae-ho took the cockpit, Tiger powered up the engine, Bub stood guard outside the ship with his spear, and Captain Jang started deploying her custom weapons. Unbeknownst to them, the Space Guard was ready to shoot their ship, but fortunately, they managed to withstand the attack as the missiles started chasing them. Captain Jang shot at the UTS drones from behind, and Bubs unleashed his ultimate power, jumping around and destroying the enemy ships one by one. Shortly after, Tae-ho performed extreme maneuvers to evade the pursuing missiles successfully. After succeeding, they headed towards the storage facility where the hydrogen bomb was installed, and Kotnim was being held captive. They found Kotnim, but unfortunately, the rescue didn't go smoothly as the bomb couldn't be defused, and attempting to hack it would trigger an explosion. This meant that the facility would still fall to Earth, and the only way to save Kotnim was to take her as far away as possible. Then the top Space Guard officer arrived, blocking their way and defeating them. Tiger rose and fought the Space Guard alone to buy time for the others. After trapping and floating the Space Guard officer, Tiger rejoined the group. Captain Jang broadcast a radio message to other space sweepers, informing them that the storage facility would fall to Earth, causing widespread destruction. With no other choice, they all united and helped Captain Jang fight against UTS. They battled in space, while simultaneously UTS residents began to learn about James's crimes from leaked recordings of his plans. Residents, unaware of the situation, started questioning the injustice. In the midst of the war, an enraged James, whose plans were thwarted, chased after the Victory ship. They began to struggle when James transformed the ship into a deadly robot, attempting to capture Kotnim to destroy her. Amidst the chaos, Bubs suffered a severe attack, causing his body to split in two. When James managed to open the ship's cargo hold, he was shocked to find that the hydrogen bomb he had prepared was inside. Surprisingly, Kotnim was never inside the cargo hold, as she had been with the other sweepers before the battle. This entire plan was a suicide mission to save Kidnap and humanity. When they were far enough away, the bomb exploded, obliterating James and everything in its vicinity. While the other sweepers mourned, Kidnap unleashed her nanobot power, bringing the victory ship back. It turned out that even though the hydrogen bomb couldn't destroy nanobot technology, since then, UTS has been led by the right people. UTS issued an apology and promised to green the Earth using their nanobot technology. They also pledged to maintain peace for all of humanity. Not only that, the space sweepers who participated in the fight were compensated for their losses, including Bubs, who had undergone a body skin graft and now looked beautiful. Victory finally found Porky, the treasurer, who had absconded with the Victory crew's money. After the money was returned, their financial situation improved. In another piece of good news, Kidnap helped Tae-ho find his lost daughter. The two were connected through a machine. Kidnap used her nanobot abilities to establish a brief telepathic connection between Tae-ho and his daughter. When they were connected, Tae-ho had the chance to hug Soon-Yi and bid her farewell. Unfortunately, Soon-Yi couldn't be saved as she had been stranded in space for too long and had passed away. Luckily, Kidnap's nanobots could interpret data from Soon-Yi's thoughts by activating her consciousness for a few seconds. This way, Soon-Yi could bid farewell to her father. In the end, Kidnap became a part of the Victory family, enrolled in school like any other child, and occasionally had assignments to go to Earth to plant trees. The film concludes as the Victory crew resumes their routine as space sweepers. And that's it for the story series of this film. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to support this channel by subscribe, like and share. See you in the next video. Goodbye.